Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, Star Trek on TV. It has been an issue for a while, some issues with the latest series, and one of the things I find people really loved about Picard was that it moved forward. Because originally, the original Star Trek was set 300 years, I can't remember, from the present day. So the original pilot was made in 65, so it was set in 2265, and the series started a year later in 2266, which was 966. So there was always that balance, and when they went forward with Next Generation, they moved forward 100 years from the original series, which unfortunately was only 80 years because it was on the 20th anniversary from then. So now we had this 80-year, or 280-year difference basically, but Next Generation progressed each year that we progressed, it progressed, and that way you can keep current with the actors and their ages and everything, and it was moving forward. And then after that, all the other series, I believe, pretty much were prequels. Enterprise was a prequel, Discovery was a prequel, Strange New Worlds is a prequel. Technically, if you look at the original Star Trek as the beginning and Next Generation as like the continuation, almost all the other series since then have been prequels. Even Lower Decks and Prodigy, I think, were set a few years before the events of Picard. Prodigy may have been like current day, I can't remember. But people very much, some people are very much against this. Star Trek should be only going forward and going backwards, but not going backwards. But there's a couple of issues. For me, Star Trek is really set in two eras, because the 32nd century Kurtzman universe doesn't count. Like, only the last couple of seasons of Discovery were there, no one cares about that, and Starfleet Academy is there, and no one's going to care about that. Had Starfleet Academy been done in the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th, maybe even 25th centuries, it might have been worthwhile because it would have been relatable and could have been related to characters and stories that we've seen in Star Trek before. But putting it in the little Kurtzman sort of Discovery Pocket universe kind of hurt it. But one of the issues is, there's two issues. One is exploration. In the Next Generation era, they've mostly explored the galaxy, so there's nothing left for them really to do. Like the Enterprise, as much adventures and fun as they had, they were basically just going around the universe, policing the universe because they were the flagship. They weren't actually out exploring new space and going to places that perhaps only probes had gone or people hadn't been for 100 years or whatever. And that was one of the great things about the original Star Trek. And the reason why, you just have these two eras, number one. There's the original era of Star Trek and the Next Generation era of Star Trek. Those are the two eras and times that you should be working in with series. You can do either. And I wouldn't really consider a show set around the original series, even if it was a couple of years before it, as a prequel, because it's just staying in that era. Like Next Generation jumped 80 years. So there's two eras. So having shows in both, I don't think is a bad thing. And that main reason for me is that there is all that exploration in the 23rd century that we could be doing. So if you want to do straight exploration and have the Federation sort of still be unknown in many ways, Federation space be unknown, you have to go back to that Kirk era. You can't really go to the Next Generation era and do a lot of those stories, because a lot of it is just the politics of the established sort of Federation. So there's some issues with that. Like shows like President Archer will work just fine and stuff like that. But I just wanted to comment on that. I just thought it was funny. A lot of people I found were criticizing Star Trek because they say, it keeps going backwards. I'm like, if it's just doing stories in the Kirk era, it's not going backwards. That's the first established era. Next Generation was the second established era. You can work in both. And I think they should stay in both and have those two universes continue. Not just go forward with Next Generation and stay there. I just wanted to comment on that. I just thought it was funny. Because I think people are wrong in that you should only go forward. And, it's not just that there are these eras with characters and canon that were sort of, established within that. It's also the fact that, if you want Star Trek to be about exploration, you have to have space to explore, and we don't really have that in the Next Generation era. So it really depends what you think Star Trek is, what you want Star Trek to be, and yeah, I think it's a multi-generational series. It's a universe with different eras and generations, and you can stay in all of them without it being regressive, is sort of what I'm feeling. And a lot of people are arguing against that, and I just wanted to sort of argue my side. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of, whether Star Trek should only go forward, whether it's okay to, stay in two different eras. And really only those two, original series era, next generation era. We don't really need to go back to Enterprise. Maybe post-Enterprise, that's one area where looking at the Romulan Wars, that was post-Enterprise but pre-Discovery, and Star Trek would be an excuse to technically do another prequel, but that would just be about focusing on the war, not like really a general series. I'm guessing like a mini-series or something like that. So there's merit to a little bit of stuff like that, but only a little bit.